What's going on, people? It's the 99th edition of the MMA Podcast, August 6, 2014, here in Mountain Time. We got a ton to break down. Just a few days ago, John Jones and Daniel Cormier got in a huge scuffle. We're going to break down the scuffle. Was it fake? Was it real? We'll break it down. We're also going to be talking about Chael Sonnen. He will be competing this Saturday at Metamoris 4, even though the NSAC is giving him a ton of shit. We're going to break down that whole situation, talk about why the state of Nevada is giving him so much crap. We're also going to break down UFC Lawler Brown, because we never got a chance to break that down, and a whole bunch more MMA news. I'm ready, Ramsey, so let's do this shit.
You're listening to the MMA Podcast!
Hell yeah, it is the MMA Podcast, the 99th episode. Next week it's going to be a big one, number 100. We'll definitely have a big show for that. But let's focus on the here and now, the MMA Podcast 99. Tonight it is me and Ramses, who you know on Twitter as the Aunt Jimmy Show. Ramses, take it away. Why should we follow you? How are you going to change the people's lives?
I'm going to do it one day at a time, doing cocaine and lifting weights. I've got everything you need to know about MMA, the rumors, the debauchery, the scandals, all the shit that no one else is going to talk about or tell you. That's why you're listening. And that's why I'm breaking it here on Jake's podcast, on the MMA Podcast. And that is the word on the street.
I heard you started taking the HGH recently. Is that a rumor or is that true?
I'm on the HGH. I'm on the GSP. I'm
on the EPO.
I'm crystal meth. Everything, anything to get an edge. All right. And guess what? What are you gonna do? Sue me? You fucks. Word on the street.
And we're going to be talking about the Nevada State Athletic Commission giving Chael Sonnen a bunch of trouble. Honestly, if Chael still had Mean Street Pizza open, they'd probably be trying to shut that bitch down. A lot of craziness. This has been a wild week.
It'd be shaking it down for collection money every week.
Jesus Christ. Follow us on Twitter at the MMA Podcast, themmmapodcast.com. Click the links at the top to find our channels on iTunes and YouTube. We update that pretty quickly. The iTunes, we usually have episodes up within an hour of us going live. The YouTube channel, we've got that updated within a few hours. It takes a while to upload and all that good stuff because it's usually like a 90-minute, 2-hour video. But yeah, check us out there. We usually have a lot of fun guests on. We had Tank Scoggins on last week. Looking to have Aljamain Sterling back on soon. That kid is a monster. Really, no news to talk about with him, but the guy wins fights and really is an elite bantamweight, so I'm looking forward to having him back on. But enough of the self-promotion. Shout out to all of our people. Kevin Black, Ross Finkelstein, Yeah, The Truth, Chris Lowenstein, fucking Hunter Allen, the MMA enthusiast, our boy Davey Boy, Poppies Martinez, whoever the fuck that is, he just favorited something of mine. Our boy Josh Sanchez, Elena, Lexi, you might not get along, but you're both part of the family. God damn it. And I'm ready to break it down. Are you ready to break it down, cocksucker?
Katie, Front Row Brian, Super Kalo. Shout out. I'm ready, Jake. Let's do this.
If I could suggest one follow to any MMA fan, it would be Front Row Brian. Front Row Brian is always on the front line, breaking shit. The guy is always dead on. I hate to dick ride him, but the guy is usually dead on when it comes to what's going on with different MMA news, and Super Calo. Come on, that is one of my favorite follows on Twitter. You motherfuckers! Shout out to Technics, which man. We don't have a new voicemail from him, but I almost want to play an old voicemail because the motherfucker cracks me up so bad.
This is Technics, idiot.
Idiot.
Motherfucker. I want to school you bitches on MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You have one chance and one chance only. And tonight is a chance. You snooze, you lose, motherfuckers.
That's a Scottish Fedor. I love him to death. Leave us more voicemails. I just love how he started the voicemail so angry. This is Technics, idiot. Follow him on Twitter at Technics.
This is Technics, idiot.
You motherfuckers.
He was geared up, man.
Dude, let's we usually break down previous cards first, but I am feeling loose. We don't have a run sheet tonight, the 99th episode. Let's just start it with the topic people want to hear about the most. Chael Sonnen in the NSAC. And for people who are not familiar, this is sort of the timeline of what's been going on. It originally was going to be Chael Sonnen versus Wanderlei Silva, UFC 175. Wanderlei runs out of a drug test. He's pulled. Then it's going to be Vitor. Chael versus Vitor. Then Chael tests positive for a fertility drug, which a lot of people say, oh, that's BS. He's not trying to have a kid. He's just trying to mask steroids. Guess what? His wife is pregnant, you dumb fuck. He was trying to have a kid. But he tested positive for it, and actually because he knew that this wasn't, his first brush with the commissions, he retired from the sport, said, I'm done, and that's where it should have ended, people. That would have been a logical, Chael says, you know what, I've fought a bunch, my wife's pregnant, I'm about to have a baby, I've done enough in the sport, I got a good commentating gig, I'm done. And they should have just left it alone. But no, they test him again after he retires out of competition, if I am correct, and he tests positive for more illegal substances, HGH and EPO, which the EPO is a little extreme, but the guy's retired. He has no intent on fighting again. And the NSAC is like, oh, well, you know what? We're going to fine you and we're going to ban you. They didn't end up fining him, but they banned him 2 years. And as a result of the NSAC sort of dragging this out and making it a big deal, the UFC and Fox decided to fire him. This guy is easily the best talent, if not really the only talent they have. Because, look, Cormier is my favorite active fighter. The guy has his moments, but comparing him to Chael, there's not a comparison. Watching Florian and Chael talk, it was like having two friends, one of whom, Chael, is very personable and talks a lot, and Kenny would kind of be quiet and laugh awkwardly. Chael carried UFC tonight. Chael carried most of the Fox and Fox Sports 1 broadcasts. And honestly, watching, there has been a huge drop-off from Chael being able to pretty much carry that to having a bunch of people who are amazing fighters and are okay in front of the camera but just don't have that same sort of flow and personality as Chael. Getting past that, they fire Chael from all of that. If that wasn't enough, now Chael's 2-year ban bans him from... I'm quoting here, quote, unarmed combat, which is MMA, which is boxing, which is kickboxing, combat. Chael, as we all know, is scheduled to fight at Metamorphs 4 this Saturday against Andre Galvao in a grappling exhibition. And if you think that's anywhere close to unarmed combat, you obviously don't know what those terms mean. So he's fighting in a grappling exhibition in California. Now, if the CSAC had a huge problem with it, that would be one thing. But this is not only out of jurisdiction for the NSAC because it's not unarmed combat and they don't have any say over it, just like they wouldn't have any say over a charity golf tournament. Like, it's not a, it's crazy, and it's in a different state. You are the NSAC, not the AC. You don't get to control every state, and they're talking about fining Chael a huge amount, and Chael's camp is very adamant that the NSAC has no jurisdiction, and while you have literally, like from what I've heard, somewhere between 70 and 90% of the UFC, of the fighters in the UFC are dirty. Between 70 and 90. That is like a figure a lot of people will say. So instead of worrying about this giant step that we need to make in the sport, they're pretty much just harassing this poor dude who, I don't know whether, the head of the NSAC is a huge Anderson Silva fan and hated watching Sonnen pound his face in at 117. I don't know what the deal is. But it's disgusting, and thank God Chael is a really smart and wise person as far as his finances go. He's fine money-wise, and even if they do fine him, it's not gonna put him into bankruptcy. But man, it's it either seems like it is just the most gross form of incompetence I've ever seen, or they're going after him off of some weird personal vendetta type thing. Either way, it's completely fucked up. Even people I've seen on Twitter who don't like Chael, they say it's fucked up. And yeah, I think I've sort of laid the foundation for anyone who doesn't know about this fucking story. Ramses, what is going on with all this, man?
Let me tell you something, everybody listening, something about the Nevada State Athletic Commission. A lot of people think the NCAC, that the commission, they're a government agency, an official organization, a body of a consortium of individuals, smart people at the highest levels, elected, this and that. The truth is, you tune into these Fight Pass hearings that they're airing, and the commission is, it's just those 6 or 7 idiots that you're seeing sitting there at the desk, acting goofy like they're all on their own pills, whatever they're taking, whatever they're prescribed. They're all acting goofy as hell. I mean, come on, one of them's, 70 or 80 years old, dressing up in crazy green suits like he's Bob Barker from The Price is Right. He's wearing suits made out of the felt green material that, if you have a poker table. These are the people that make up the commission. These are the people making the decisions. These bumbling idiots. These people that just, what you're watching when you hear them talking. They're just sitting around just bumbling, just drunkenly fumbling for words in their stupid heads, their overblown sized heads. It makes me sick what they're doing to Chael Sonnen, what they're trying to do. It is fraudulent. It is downright illegal. They are trying to prevent a man from earning a living at this point, and it has nothing to do. This is not a fight at all. What they are doing, I would turn the tables, and I would sue them if I were Chael. Chael is going to fight this. He's going to fight anyway. He's going to compete at Metamorphs on Saturday. He's going to make the walk like he said he would. He's not going to let this lawsuit threat spook him. He's got a lawyer, best in the biz, one of the best Jew lawyers in town, Ross Goodman-Steen. They're going to knock this thing out of the park. They're going to take care of it. In fact, I'm going to be joining his legal team myself to fight these bastards. All right, guess what? I'm a Jew too. I'm Ramstein here. How about that? Word on the street.
Word on the fucking street. Man, it looks like Chael will be at Metamoris 4. Whether or not he gets fined or not, it's looking like he won't, but we will see. But let's actually talk about this Saturday's match. Chael Sonnen versus Andre Galvao. Chael Sonnen is one of my favorite fighters of all time. He and Penn are my favorite too. And it's not like 1-2 for either guy. It's like 1A and 1B. I really like both guys a lot. But, I mean, I only can see this ending up a draw or Galvao winning. I mean, I love Chael to death, but is there any way in your mind that he actually defeats one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to put money down on the American Gangster Chael Sonnen to defeat Galvao handily. I think it will be a submission. A lot of people don't know the word in the street that, now that he's got nothing to answer for, Chael Sonnen is more massive than ever. He is making Brock Lesnar look like a dwarf. In fact, the word in the street is that
he's plus 1,600.
Well, guess what? He's close to 300 pounds now is the word on the street. So he's just going to outmatch Galvao based on his size alone. That is my prediction. That's what I'm going to bet on. And it's going to happen. The world will be shocked. He's just going to strangle this man. And then he's going to get the fuck out of there.
You think Chael is going to submit
after this?
You think Chael is going to submit Galvao?
Easily, yes.
Easily.
That's my prediction. Easily. He's going to overpower him with his size. Listen to me.
I would be so happy if it happened. I would be so overjoyed, dude. Man, we have seen many a time that size is almost negligible when it comes to a top guy. I mean, if this is a wrestling match, Chael fucking dominates him any day. I mean, he fucking beats him 2,000-0 on points in a wrestling match. But this is a jiu-jitsu match, man, and I love Chael. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't see how Chael doesn't get submitted.
See, that's where you're wrong. It's not a jiu-jitsu match because Chael's secret and his strategy, thanks for giving it away. Hopefully Galvao's tuned out right now and not getting the internet where he's from. But yeah, Chael's strategy is to make it a wrestling match where he is elite. He is at the Olympic level. He's undefeated, of course. And look, Andre Galvao is 170 pounds soaking wet. Chael Sonnen is going to be weighing close to 250. Or if you want me to get serious, he'll be 215 to 220 at least. You guys do the math. He's going to overpower this guy and wrestle him old school style. It's called American Jiu-Jitsu.
Honestly, if I had to guess what weight he would be at, I'd say 235. Like he walks around at 230.
Galvao is 170.
And his fight at 175.
Your bet now?
His fight at 175 was supposed to be at light heavyweight, if I'm not confused, right?
Yeah, that's correct, man. But why are you glancing over the fact that Galvao, this champion, is 170 pounds?
I think at fight time he'll be 190, around there. He cuts to 170. Like his last MMA fight, he cut to 170 and fought Tyron Woodley, and it didn't go very well for him.
You can play your word games and math all you want, but there is going to be a huge size difference and therefore advantage. And that's the bottom line, like Stone Cold says. All right?
We will see what...
That's going to win him the fight.
We will see what goes down at Metamoris 4. Any quick thoughts on Barnett versus Lister before we move on?
I don't even know if Barnett's going to seriously try or if this is just a fucking goof, so I'm not going to bet on this one, and I have no idea what's going to happen. You heard it first. Hot take. I got nothing.
In both fights, we have an MMA guy against a jiu-jitsu guy. And in MMA, I'm taking Sonnen. I'm taking Barnett. In Jiu-Jitsu, I'm going with Lister and Galvao. As much as I hate to pick against Chael, fuck, man. This is, if I'm really gonna try and be not biased and really give an honest thought, fuck, man, I am gonna be rooting hard for a Chael. But if I've got to pick, it's Galvao, and we will move on. Speaking of the NSAC sticking their noses in places, they've got a little more jurisdiction on this John Jones-Daniel Cormier brawl that happened in the lobby of the MGM Grand. They were squaring off. Jones put his forehead against Cormier's. Cormier shoves him, and a brawl ensues. What did you think? Poor Dave Scholler, the hashtag poor Scholler going around. That's probably a tongue twister. Poor Scholler. Say that fucking 10 times in a row. But yeah, Scholler just getting shoved off the back of the stage by Jones, who tries to throw a hard left at Cormier. And honestly, I'm sort of on the fence whether this was real or fake. It would make sense if it was fake, because they are selling tickets really soon for it. But at the same time, Jones threw a really hard punch. Cormier really rifled his shoe in super hard afterwards. It was crazy, dude.
Man, well, let's not. And you were kind of having a little chuckle about Dave Scholler, but honestly, people, it's not funny. The man could have been killed, and he is today in a wheelchair. It's not funny to him, but yeah. Other than that, the brawl was it was probably the greatest thing that happened in MMA in the past month. They sold it this time. Usually Cormier really fucked up the last shove with Cummins. People were laughing at him. All right, it was the worst. It was so worked. It looked like a Bellator Rampage Tito angle. All right, it was tasteless. This right here was nothing but class, though. Throwing the director of PR through the fucking banner, wall, stage, whatever the hell it was. Throwing actual punches, scoring a takedown. The classic hotel lobby scenario out in the open where the public, anybody could have gotten hurt. Little kids, it didn't matter. They would have gotten paid off. It was excellent. That's how you sell a fight. I hope there are more brawls more often. And honestly, next time, you always got to keep escalating and upping it. So next time, there has to be some blood. And that's the bottom line. And that's the word on the street.
So, we heard a lot of shit talking between Jones and DC. Jones said, "Oh, you're weak, this and that." Do you take anything? A bunch of fans are saying, Jones took Cormier down. Oh my God. I don't think there's anything yeah, you can take him down on a stage. That has no bearing on whether you can, take him down in a cage. Do you think... Sorry?
No, I was just going to say, I believe that actually Jones accidentally injured himself during this scuffle. I believe that definitely, and I do have the word on the street, couple reports and rumors coming in from sources that the champ is unfortunately injured while acting a fool.
How?
Nobody really knows. I couldn't get a straight answer. You're just getting 6 different answers on the injury. It's hard. That's a tough part about getting the word in the street. The rumors, the angles, the details get confused, man. It's like a game of whatever it's called, hot potato or whatever the fuck. Secret, password. I don't remember what the hell the game is. You tell one person. by the time it goes around the bus or whatever it's called, it's all of a sudden it ain't even about John Jones anymore. So I don't know what the issue is specifically, what the injury is, but he was on Fox Sports Live. You watch it again. He started to break down and tear up and cry out of his eyes, and he was shaking, and then he limped his way off, acting like he wasn't limping. And that's all I got to say. I can read between the lines. That's the word on the street.
Word on the street. Let's break down this UFC on Fox card coming up, or not coming up, but it was a week and a half ago, July 26th, SAP Center, San Jose, California. I'll just break down all the prelims. Nohad Lehat, who after the fight, like the day after, went over to fight for Israel or something, which is pretty crazy. He beat Steven Siler via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Joanna Zergic defeats Juliana Lima. Lima was at 116.5 pound catch weight after Lima couldn't make weight, and Lima did lose the unanimous decision. Gilbert Burns defeats Andre Stahl via unanimous decision. Tiago Trator defeats Akbar Ariola. His last name really is Ariola. Moving on to the Fox prelims, Brian Ortega with a very impressive first-round rear naked choke over Michael De La Torre. Tim Means over Hernani Perpetao, unanimous decision. Pat Cummins with a crazy fight we'll talk about. Honestly, the last 6 fights, who gives a fuck? I'm just letting the people know. Let's talk about Cummins Kingsbury. Our boy, friend of the show, friend of Team Darkside, Patrick Cummins, defeats Kyle Kingsbury. One of the judges scores it 30-24. Kingsbury was apparently on shrooms or something. What was going on here? Like not looked like he was on shrooms, but after the fight admitted that he was on psychedelics during the fight. Like, what?
Yeah, it wasn't like ayahuasca or something.
Something wild, dude.
Stuff that you can't even test for, people don't even know about. Who knows what the hell? To me, I doubt he was tripping during the fucking fight. That sounds like a really ridiculous excuse for losing, just to be honest. But finally, we saw the real Patrick Cummins finally showing us something. I will still hold fast to my belief that he was paid to take a dive against Cormier. You watch the fight again. He's rolling with the punches. It's a fake knockout. It's embarrassing. But now he's back. They owe him, and he's collecting bitches. He's tired of being poor and broke. He wants a real fucking tooth in his skull. And he'll stop at nothing to get that and the belt. Word on the street.
Word on the street. Pardon me, Jesus Christ, that fucked my throat up. Our boy Mystery Meds just tweeted in saying our podcast is fucking gold. Thank you, buddy. And he also wrote in the hashtag Fancy Boy of the Week. Ramses, we're going to bring the segment back after we break down this card. Think up a fancy boy, because we're going to be doing the Fancy Boy of the Week. Let's move to the next fight. Jorge Masvidal defeating Darren Cruikshank. Man, Cruikshank definitely took that first round, but just couldn't stay with it, couldn't win the last 2. Bobby Green with an upset over, I believe at the time, was the number 1 lightweight Josh Thompson via split decision. Dennis Bermudez over the Carpenter Clay Guida. Tony Johnson over Little Nog. Your thoughts on the Masvidal, Green, Bermudez, and Johnson victories? Anything standing out? Rumble looking dangerous.
Bermudez won?
Yeah, I beat Guida.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, how could I ever forget Clay Guida being embarrassed and humiliated, and once again getting another L. I'm proud of Bermudez. He's a hero in my book now. Anybody that defeats Clay Guida should be applauded, receive accolades, and respect above all else. Clay Guida,
cocksucker.
We have a long-standing feud, me and him. So yes, I did make it personal, but I bet a lot of money on Bermudez. Got a lot back. Now I just, Clay Guida, I just feel sorry for him now. But again, miraculously, he's not getting cut. For some reason, this guy always manages to avoid 3 losses in a row. Look at his record. It's pathetic. But he always avoids the 3 in a row.
He won the fight before Dennis. He beat Crusher Kawajiri.
That's what I'm saying, man. but he stinks is what I'm saying, and I don't like bringing fighters down like that.
Yeah,
Clay beat up, man.
He lost to Din Thomas and Tyson Griffin, then won his next fight against Marcus Aurelio back in 2007. Lost to Diego and Florian back-to-back, but then beat Shannon Gugerty in his next fight. Lost to Bendo and Gray, but then beat Hatsu. I don't know, you might be on to something there.
I'll never forgive him for the Gray Maynard fight, all right? That's where this all comes from and stems from. That was the worst UFC main event. I believe it was on Fox even.
It was on FX.
Embarrassment. Whatever it was. It was an embarrassment.
It was the main event, though.
Then and there. That's what I'm saying. It was the main event, right? It should have been over then and there for Clay Guida, man. And I've never forgiven him, right? And I'm living proof that some fans never forget Clay. Son of a bitch.
I actually saw Clay like 3 or 4 months after that fight, and it was just I actually was at the house. I was at the House of Blues at the Joey Diaz and Ari Shaffir comedy show. And I saw Clay there. And the guy, I looked at him and I smiled and nodded. I wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to ask for an autograph. I was just walking by. I know the guy gets bothered enough. And I like to err on the side of not bugging people. And I smiled and nodded at him. And he gave me this, frown. Hey, man, please don't bother me. And it's just okay. Moving on past Guida and Dennis, what did you think of Rumble? Dude, holy shit. Everyone's talking about Little Nog, he's a great boxer, this and that. Rumble was not fucking playing around. He finished him quick, 44 seconds in, and the fight was over.
Yeah, man, this fight, as much as everybody, including myself, I'll admit, was, laughing. We knew what was going to happen. As funny as it was, let's make no mistake what we witnessed. It was legally, look it up, it was attempted murder. The UFC and they set up Little Nog. They were hoping that Rumble Johnson would kill him, that they would have their first death in the octagon. They wanted to burn Little Nog. He's done. He's old news, old hat. Rumble, man. I don't know why he didn't kill Little Nog with those punches. I guess credit to Little Nog for still breathing today as we speak. But that was a setup. That was total. That was a murder attempt on his life, and I feel bad for him. At the same time, like I said, you can't help but laugh. It was hilarious. It was what everyone expected and secretly deep down wanted to see. And I'm just telling the truth. Don't blame me, people. You know I'm fucking right. Word on the street.
Main event, Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown. Everyone's saying, this is going to be crazy. Somebody's going to get finished. This one's not going to a judge's decision. Dana White said, I'll walk back to Vegas if this goes to a judge's decision. Of course, I bet money on this being a judge's decision because every single fight that people say won't go to the judge's scorecards, guess what? It's going to go the distance. Brown Lawler, it goes the distance. Robbie Lawler wins 49-46, 49-46, 48-47, and seems to have lined up his rematch against Johnny Hendricks, whether that'll be later this year or early 2015. We'll probably see a rematch there. Robbie Lawler looking amazing. Brown, still a top guy, but it was a fun fight. I made a little money. What'd you think of it?
I'm pretty good at this, and honestly, what I see that happened here is that Robbie Lawler was fighting completely 100% healthy, and Matt Brown was not. I believe that he was injured coming into this fight, honestly. Matt Brown was not himself. He was not at 100%. Something was wrong with him. Of course, he got even broken more in half now. It was a shorter turnaround for him, I believe, and honestly, if they're both Robbie and Matt fighting on a just perfect good day for both of them where they're all turned up, They show up at 100% health rating off the charts. If you have that type of fight, I believe that Matt Brown knocks out Robbie Lawler or puts him away, finishes him easily. But that was not the case. And what you saw was a more even fight. But you get a Matt Brown in there, this thing wouldn't have gone to the judge's decision at all, man. And hopefully someday they do rematch. Matt Brown, I'm a fan now. He changed my mind. He converted me. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, he is an awesome fighter. Listen to his did you hear him on the Joey Diaz show, The Church of What's Happening Now?
I did not, man. What happened?
It was just really good. Brown was being totally honest, saying he's scared as shit when he's training and thinking about the fight. Was talking about a bunch of stuff. It was really cool.
I had no idea.
The Church of What's Happening Now. Listen to it, cocksuckers. Overall, before we get to our fancy boys, what did you think of UFC on Fox 12, Lawler Brown? Was it a success? Got a gate of about 735K. Shot of whiskey for the working man.
Hell yeah, man. The UFC, I gotta say, it's hard to really measure success because they are the only ones really doing it. This is, Bellator, that's basically the TNA. It's not happening. There is no other competition, let's be real. So who knows if 700,000 people or 1.3 million, who knows what's good? What are we comparing it to? This is new ground. But I don't see people that watch UFC walk away from it. I think it's still hooking people. So I nothing but good things ahead, in my opinion, and I am heavily invested in it, literally.
That's right, I am too. We both got about $2.7 million, I think, between us invested in all that shit. Enough with breaking down the cards. Let's get to it. Let's go to this week's Fancy Boy.
I call him out and he covers his mouth like a little fancy boy. I mean, what is that?
They call me Fancy Boy. You're a love man. Really walking.
Yep, he's a dandy. He's a real fancy boy.
Look, this week, I see a lot of people hate on him really bad. They call him things like Puke Thomas. They call him a lot of curse words I won't even mention. But Luke Thomas, bro, I see you're doing your grind. You're doing all you can. People hate, but you know what? I won't hate. But Luke Thomas, today, on the day of the MMA Podcast 99th episode, you schedule your 100th episode, trying to upstage us, trying to steal our fans. Look, I know you usually do it on Thursday, and I know you get your fans, and I know you're just trying to poach our fans by scheduling your 100th episode on the same day that we do our 99th episode. But, Luke, look, we get literally 200 times more viewers than your show. It's okay. Just, we'll have you on eventually, and maybe you can stop trying to steal topics and ideas, and you've got someone doing fight tips now, just ripping off all of our shit. Luke, look, I respect you, but you're my fancy boy of the week.
Hell yeah, Jake. You know what? I was going to go with Mr. Josh Grisby as the fancy boy of the week, but you know what? I'll back you up on this Luke Thomas thing. He is my fancy boy of the week now, too. You've convinced me. Somebody get the fire extinguisher because Luke Thomas is flaming people. He is queerer than a $3 bill, allegedly. He is out on the town at the fancy boutiques, like I always say, purchasing fine linens for himself, fabricating things, playing wearing his wife's dresses. How about that, Luke? You're a hack. You're a hack writer. And I did hear your latest episode, and let me justify my comments here. All right, and look, I don't have any proof that you wear your wife's dresses, but you know, do you have any proof that you don't? That's the issue. But I listened to your last podcast where you revealed that you were working on a story currently about how the UFC is doing nothing to get rid of PEDs in their sport. Yeah, thanks, Luke. That sounds like a real original article from you. Good to see you doing the thing as an MMA journalist, helping to promote the sport. You're really on our side. This isn't another article where you're just trying to bring down the sport. Surely not. You fucking dumbass. You're trying to ruin everything. You're trying to ruin your own livelihood. Can't you see that? Oh, you son of a bitch. You fancy boy of the week, Luke Thomas.
That is our fancy boy of the week. Shout out to the Meds Ninja. Follow him on Twitter at Mystery Meds. Is that it? Yeah, Mystery Deja. The word mystery and then DEJA. Follow him. Follow the MMA enthusiast. Put an underscore between those two words and another underscore after enthusiast. Cocksucker. You mentioned your fancy boy of the week was going to be Josh Grisby. Why don't you enlighten the people? Why Josh Grisby?
Josh Grisby, cut from the UFC last year. He was a featherweight. Now he's a panty-waist fancy boy himself. The man arrested twice in the past couple weeks or something for beating his wife severely, but hospitalizing her, training a dog, his dog Buddy, training poor little Buddy to attack and maul his wife, his own wife. They have children. This man, obviously, he's insane. Josh Grisby, you're insane. You should never be allowed to see your children again. I hope you never see them again for the rest of your life, which I hope is short and very painful, honestly. You know, I don't even believe in God. I'm going to pray for that. I'm going to pray for all the bad things in life to happen to you and only you. And Josh Grisby, arrested. They found the cocaine. They found the guns and ammunition right next to his kid's crib. They found 2 potbelly pigs in the basement for some goddamn reason. This guy was a damn... Oh, they found pot too, but, that has nothing... what the fuck? You're going to... You come and get me, guess what you're going to find, right? But you ain't going to find no pigs and babies and guns.
Some of the more disturbing details in the report include the dog was trained to attack Josh's wife and that he'd choke the dog unconscious following the attacks. Unsecured guns left next to the playpen of their 1-year-old child. Josh's wife didn't extend the restraining order in hopes that he'd be better. Instead, Josh began yelling about a pile of wood. She ran away, hid in some bushes. Josh finds her, begins punching her, forces her into the home, continues attacking her, and then sicks the dog on her as she tries to hide in the bathroom. These are 3 texts from the report, and honestly, look, we fucking joke around a lot about, random shit, dark shit, whatever. This is me being totally serious, man. These are really dark texts. The first one, you're fucking dead, and if you try to bring my kids into it, the worse it'll be for you. And if you try to make a scene, I'll choke you unconscious and smash your throat, and if you get worse and run around after, I'm gonna let Buddy have at you, and I'll walk out of the room. The second one, don't care, you whore, that's all you think about. You're a fucking scumbag piece of shit who I'm going to enjoy choking to death. The next one, the last one, thankfully. You better not be bluffing about cops, because I don't joke. You're dead when I see you, literally. I don't care. I'm going to beat you and throw you to Buddy. You're dead. Buddy being the dog. This is,
Buddy's
dude.
dead, by the way.
Dude, Buddy's dead. I'm a big fan of sports, and I've been a big fan of sports my entire life. And there have been a lot of disgusting cases. The Michael Vick case comes to mind. Just a lot of fucked up things. This may be one of the most horrifying reports I've ever heard of, and it's actually sort of ironic, because if you watched yesterday's Q&A for UFC 178, Grispy's name actually came up out of nowhere when Connor was talking shit to Dustin. Dustin Poirier says, "You know what? I get a lot of people with a bunch of hype behind them, and I take them out. Whether it's Josh Grispy, whether it's a bunch of people." And it's sort of weird how his name got brought up yesterday during that Q&A, which we will talk about the Q&A because it was ridiculously insane. Yeah, man, this and our boy Davey just tweeted us the same thing. He was close to a fight against Aldo, and then Poirier beat him. Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, man, I agree with you completely. This is over the top. It's almost unbelievable, but really, there is a positive. We should all be thankful. This guy, this stupid Josh Grispy son of a bitch, worthless piece of shit. He was literally minutes, hours away from being the Chris Benoit of MMA. There is no doubt in my mind that had the police not gotten involved, he was going to kill this woman. This woman would probably be dead right now as we speak. Maybe even the kids too. And honestly, got those pigs in the basement. I guarantee you, this sick fuck would have tried to get rid of the body that way, feeding them to the pigs. I would bet money on it. This guy is so insane. It's almost comical. Like the only good thing about people like this, is that they fuck up. Like, this guy was so blinded by insanity that he's actually sending text messages on record. It's going to be the thing that actually, helps ensure that he gets put away. Obviously, it's not going to be for life, even though, clearly, I mean, common sense tells you, you can't rehabilitate this man. You can't make somebody come back from this shit. Beating the mother of his children and training a dog to just maul her and threaten her life, beat her, like unconscious. You don't come back from that shit. You don't get rehabilitated. Hopefully the right thing happens in prison, because everyone's going to be like, oh man, he's a UFC fighter. But guess what? He's not a big UFC fighter. He is a featherweight after all. And honestly, I hope nothing but rape and murder occurs to him while he's incarcerated, and that's the word on the street. Bottom line.
Keeping it straight up. You fucking worded it great. It's sort of wild. Another thing that came across today, Bukau Banchemek. Did you hear the news about one of the most famous Muay Thai guys from across the Pacific Ocean?
You're talking gibberish to me. What?
Bukau, a very famous kickboxer, Muay Thai guy. A video came out today of him abusing a dog. Which it started off.
I heard he was just wrestling with the dog, like all playful.
Well, man, like the video's 15 seconds long, and this is what I'll say. Of the 15 seconds, the first 9 seconds is pretty innocent, because he's taking the dog's paws and making the dog like hit itself in the head, which, if you're doing in a playful and not hurtful way, like it's cool, I had a yellow lab and I would wrestle. Dude, I didn't have brothers. I had a yellow lab dog, and we'd wrestle and mess around, and at first I'm thinking, all right, they're making a big deal about nothing, but then he starts like really yanking on the dog's arm, and the dog starts like crying out like and then he starts angrily like shoving his paw into his mouth, and the dog's like crying. And I was like, okay, Bukow's a piece of shit. Yeah. It like the first 9 seconds, I am like, all right, I don't see. And then the dog starts crying, and he gets more and more aggressive. And I'm like, all right, that's fucked up. Which, I mean, dude, whether you are beating the shit out of a helpless woman or a helpless dog, if your brain is so warped that you get some sick pleasure out of like hurting something that can't hurt you back, then I wish the worst things on you. That's so fucked.
This sounds pretty damn terrible, man. And usually, you know, animal rights activists, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I call them pussies, but nah, this is ridiculous, man. Poor dog, man. What is this idiot's name?
Bukaw Banchemek. I'll actually send you a link now, and here, let's.
Bukaw Banchemek, man, kill yourself, you son of a bitch. Word on the street.
Here. Let's get your live reaction. Oh no, the video was pulled off a live link. Fuck. Oh well.
Christ.
Yeah, this is what Bloody Elbow. This is what they break it down as. Bukaw starts by playing sort of a quit hitting yourself game with the puppy, but is increasingly aggressive in how hard he hits the dog with its own paw. It gets worse as he continues, and the dog begins trying to get away and yelps in obvious pain and panic. That takes about 10 seconds to unfold. At that point, Bukaw begins jamming the dog's paw in its mouth, which draws more desperate yelping before he begins to swat the dog in the face again with its own paw. There's no world where this is playing with an animal. It's cruelty, and it's disgusting. Moving on, unless we have any more words about these crazy fucks and Grispy and Bukaw, which obviously Grispy, it's a whole nother level. Like, I mean, not that Bukaw, you know, can get away with it, but it's like, there is a difference between, like, fucking around with a dog and making it yelp and, like, beating the shit out of your wife and, like, saying you'll kill. That's so fucked up. Let's get to that weird press conference I was talking about. What the fuck was going on there? Like, there were just multiple moments. It was so awkward. Like, here, let me try and find the clip where, like, Jones says to Cormier, I'm gonna make you my wife, and I'm gonna rub your belly, and you're gonna like. It was just so weird, dude.
It went full homo, man. Luckily, Megan Levy wasn't having it. Shout out to my girl. She stepped right in. Once they were going too homo and over the top, once it was approaching gold dust status, she stepped in. She said, "Enough is enough," and yeah, it was getting weird. He said he was going to make him his wife. He was going to be Mrs. Jones for the night. At that point, it's not even what gay trash talk? I'll never get it, man. Why go homo? Why that angle? Are they really trying to just hit all the demographics, trying to sell this damn pay-per-view? I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know, but, you know, I'm so pumped up about Jones and Cormier. Let's take a couple minutes. Shout out to the Fox Sports Live YouTube channel. Let's listen to it from the men themselves, the men who will be headlining UFC 178. The tickets go on sale this Friday. People, if you have a chance to go to 178, this is going to be such a fucking amazing card. Like, not only do we have the fight I've wanted to see more than any other fight the last couple years, Jones, Cormier. We have Dominic Cruz and Takeya Mizugaki. Tim Kennedy versus Yoel Romero. Kat Zingano making her return against Amanda Nunes. Conor McGregor, the pride of Ireland, taking on Dustin Poirier. John Howard and Brian Ebersol. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Patrick Cote. Jorge Masvidal against Bobby Green. Cody Gibson and Manny Gamburian. John Tuck and Kevin Lee. And we might even see a co-main event announced tomorrow that might be Donald Cerrone and Eddie Alvarez. Let us listen to the guys in the main event trading barbs. I don't know. Jesus Christ, I had a million fucking tabs open and I can't find it now. There it is. Let's listen to them on Fox Sports Live. Shout out to Fox Sports 1 for the clip.
At the end of the day, they are going to lock the cage with him and I in it, and we get to settle our differences, and we're not going to do it once. We're going to do it twice.
It's Cormier.
Because I'm going to beat him in September, and then we're going to fight again at the beginning of the year, and then he'll realize that he never wants to get locked in the cage with me again.
All right, John, last word. What happens on September 27th?
You know what? I've fought many great fighters before. I've fought many great wrestlers before.
Pause. He used the word foughten. He has foughten many great fighters before. Great English, John.
And there's a huge difference between a great wrestler who's learned how to throw a few punches and kicks and a martial artist. I embody the spirit of a martial artist, the heart of a martial artist, what it truly means to be a martial artist. I'll give up my arm, I'll give up an eye, I'll give up a toe. It doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do to stop me, Daniel Cormier. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Please let me talk. Please, did I just let you talk? Did I just let you talk? I just got to ask you a question. I just want to ask you a question.
I just let you talk? Where do you draw? What do you draw? But just one question. What do you draw that makes you believe?
I think he's at 8. Did I just let you talks?
He's on fire.
9, 10. Double digits.
You said you could take me down 100 times out of 100 times, right? And that's what you're going to do, right? I challenge you to get me down 5 times in that 5-round fight. You won't be able to do that. Maybe you will get me down once. I believe in my whole heart that I'll get you down too. But the difference is, when I get you down, your face will open up. There is nothing you can do to stop me from coming at you round after round with the most malicious techniques I know. You will lose this fight, Daniel Cormier. I want you to believe it. Every ounce of training you put in leading up to this fight will be a waste of your life.
DC, quick response.
Hey, that is great. I'm glad that he feels that way. This is what I want. I want a dogfight. If you can bring a dogfight to me, please do it. I live for this. Please do it.
You've seen me.
Please do it.
You know how I react when it gets tough.
And you know what? And I have praised you for that. But again, I've never had to show that because nobody can test me in that way.
Yeah,
it's going to look easy. It's going to look easy.
No one has
and people are going to be scratching their head.
You have not fought on anything like me. You will see the difference.
Do you not think that I would do this? Do you not think that
you will see the difference between all these old watch the fighters you've been beating?
John,
Daniel, listen, you have a sense of security beating Dan Henderson, a guy who's almost 50 years old, freaking Patrick Cummins, a guy who's only 4-0, Josh Barnett at the end of his career. Man, you have not tasted what I have to offer, and you will see it. You will see it.
Do you not think that I would do the same thing to all those guys that you beat that you did?
Honestly,
do you really believe
Honestly,
that?
I cannot sit here and say you would dominate the competition that I have faced the way I have faced them.
Okay, John.
All right, guys. Daniel Cormier, John Jones, thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show. And thank you very much. This has been another edition of UFC Fighting Words. This gigantic fight just got bigger.
And John Jones stands up with his belt and walks away. Thoughts on that?
Well, Jake, I hate to maybe just embarrass you a little bit, but I did now just Google the word, and apparently foughten is an actual word. I don't believe it myself. I didn't know it.
I think it's...
I'm an English major.
I think it's like a really old word
outdated.
that people don't use, like twas or something.
Yeah, basically, like, this word was in use when only like one person in the village in the Dark Ages still knew how to read. So yeah, foughten got a pass back then.
Ian,
but
like if we're talking 2014 English, you fought those people, John. You didn't foughten those people.
I agree with you there, man. But I'm just saying that the kid has a case, but I bet that he is completely ignorant about what I just revealed. So so you're right, but technically he can stand his ground if he was smart enough to do so. But yeah, he needs to get it together, man. He's not bringing back old, out of date words that stop getting used because real people realized it was stupid. All right. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. I'm just, having been an English major myself, these things interest me from time to time.
Yeah, and our boy Davey Boy, follow him, DAVEI_BOI. He says John Jones does have a point though on the levels on the level of fighters that Daniel Cormier has fought in. ... Oh man, Jesus Christ, fuck. Man, you know what really grosses me out? Go ahead and insult fighters all you want, but John Jones goes after fans of the UFC. He went after me very lightly. He tweeted at me, "Hey, I'd love to be on your show." After this long story, when he sent Tyson Griffin all that negative shit, I was basically like, dang, that was really immature. And he is like, "I'd love to be on the show." And I was like, well, I know you're probably trolling me, but if you're serious, send me a DM. And he's like, totally not serious. It's like, oh, you burned me. You really had me tricked that you were going to be on the show, even though like the first thing I said was you're probably just trying to troll me. And then the guy seriously goes on my Instagram and finds a picture of a bunch of cars with snow on them, and none of them were my cars because I parked in a covered space. And he said, "You mad, bro?" And I'm like, no.
The hell?
Yeah. It's a picture I took of snow because it was May and it snowed pretty hard. And I took a picture of all these cars covered in snow right outside my porch, which none of them were mine. They were just the cars that were outside my porch. And I took a picture of it, and like a month later, he comments on them, "Oh, you mad, bro?" Literally, it's still fucking there. He never erased it, but he
Is that like an ultimate diss or something?
Yeah, like I'm so mad that even if that was my car, like I have a snow brush I keep in it, and I can just brush the snow off in literally 3 seconds. I don't care about that. It's when he goes after fans, and there have been multiple instances where, like, just fucking recently, like someone posted on John's in Instagram, like, oh, go Cormier. And Jones goes back, comments on 3 of these guys' pictures. And this guy is literally just a fucking fan. He's just a dude who likes the UFC. Jones goes on a picture of him and his girlfriend and says, "Oh, that's your fucking girl, LMAO." Like, calling his girl ugly. Then a picture of like some toy he took a picture of, like, "Oh, you fat ass bitch sitting on your ass playing with toys." And then another one of him, like, with earbuds in, like, "Oh, you think you're fucking hard because you listen to hard music, you pussy." Like, part of it is just like, are you really that fucking immature, John? You're a millionaire. You're one of the most badass fighters in the world. Even if you backed out of the DC fight and retired today, you're probably the best light heavyweight in history. You dominated legends. You have already cemented your spot in the history of the UFC. But you're going to go after, like, it's so immature. It's so juvenile, dude.
Yeah, but I think it's fake. I think it's a work. I don't really. It's too ridiculous and unbelievable to be true. I don't think that John Jones is even running his own Twitter account. Like, I honestly think he probably has never even used a computer or the internet. It ain't him. It's other people. At least 300 people that work for the UFC and Bud Light have his password. That's the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line. Let's move from one fancy boy in Jones to another in Vanderlei Silva. Before we get to news about Silva and maybe a fight against Dan Henderson, do you want to recap what went down last night with Coach Jamie Huey on the Word on the Street?
Oh, yeah. God bless his soul, I guess. We were worried. Coach Jamie Huey, of course, longtime coach on Team Sonnen. He coached the Ultimate Fighter seasons 17 and Brazil 3. Stood in Chael's corner all this time, backed up Team Sonnen. Appeared, helped me build the show off the ground. I owe him my life. But he tweeted out, he Instagrammed out a picture of him smiling and hanging out with Vanderlei Silva, and it broke my heart. It broke my heart. I knew it was you, Fredo. And we had him on the show to answer for his betrayal. And honestly, I still don't know what to think of it. I don't know if I buy it. He says he was implying that maybe he was just giving Vanderlei some autographs, but then he was also talking weird deals. I don't know where it stands. You're going to have to keep tuning in, people. But Coach Huey, man, I hope you come back to the, well, I guess the dark side.
Yeah,
weird. It's the opposite.
Literally makes the most sense there.
Yeah, it's the opposite of Return of the Jedi, but you know what you got to do, Coach. You know. That's all I got to say.
Sip of beer for the working man?
Yep, definitely.
Moving on, Vanderlei Silva. He might have a trilogy fight against Dan Henderson. We know that Vanderlei got the best of Dan at Pride 12, and Dan got the best of Vanderlei at Pride 33 via nice KO, and they might meet for a third time. Apparently both parties are down for it. Would you like to see the fight? I would love to see Dan knock out Vanderlei on behalf of our boy CPS.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch their first two fights. I'm going to do that right after the show's done. And then I'll be able to give you a more accurate breakdown, analysis, and prediction. Of course, I do believe that Dan Henderson is in slightly better old man shape than Vanderlei Silva. But, they're both, let's face it, they're both off the magic potion. They're both off the juice now. So it's a who's who. It's anybody's fight now. It's going to come down to who's still got technique. What is the last thing to truly go? We're going to find out. Is it intelligence or is it speed? God bless these old men. Again, this is one of those one of these matches where conceivably one of them might even die. So may the best man win. I'm gonna pull for Dan Henderson just because he's the lesser of two evils in this case. I don't know the man, but I heard things.
Before we close this out, Metamorphs 4 this Saturday. Get your stream for real. This is going to be worth watching. Metamorphs 4. Visit metamorphs.com and let's listen to the trailer for the main event. Our boy CPS going in there.
I have to respect his leg lock game.
It's going to be interesting going against someone who has good leg locks.
It's going to be in the back of his mind, because if Josh gets my leg...
I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter. Chael Sonnen is a wrestler.
I was the biggest draw in the UFC for a number of years.
I like to fight wrestlers.
Nothing beats wrestling, except jiu-jitsu. I am the new face of Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
I was scheduled to compete against Keenan like on a Metamorphs 3.
Keenan versus Vinny, the Redux.
I bring a lot of intensity.
Our game is a little bit different than the kids playing today.
There's going to be things that he's going to do that I'll never be able to prepare for.
I like to do what they don't expect.
They put the biggest star of mixed martial arts against a 9-time world champion.
It's going to be just one more fight, and I'll try to have some fun.
I'm going to bet on me every time.
I will leave a superior position to take a chance.
I'm always like chasing a submission.
I'm actually impossible to submit at all, so Vinny should not even attempt that.
I just like to go out there and give them my best.
I'm going to shake things up.
Saulo, the best competitor I ever saw.
For 2 years, he was the best in the planet.
Tune in this Saturday. Anything else we didn't cover? I'm sort of looking up and down, and I can't think of anything we haven't tackled.
Best of luck to another Metamorphs competitor, Vinny Magalhaes, taking on Keenan Cornelius.
Yep.
I think this is actually an even match. All right. I think Vinny damn well is going to beat this man. I do have a bookie that has agreed to, take some bets, open up the books. I'm betting on Vinny and Chael, and guess what? I'm going to get paid, people. You have to believe. Word on the street.
That's right. Believe, and thank you for listening to the 99th, the MMA Podcast. The next one will be number 100. That'll actually probably be next Monday. We'll be breaking down the next UFC event, UFC Fight Night Bader versus St. Preux. That's going to be August 16th in Bangor, Maine. Also going to see a couple other fights on there. Gray Maynard versus Ross Pearson. Going to be fun. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch more news to break down. We'll be talking about Metamorphs 4, what went down there. Hopefully a Chael Sonnen victory. We love the shit out of you. I did my shout-outs. Follow us on Twitter at the MMA Podcast. Ramses, what you got to say to the good people?
Right now, Josh Crispy's dog buddy is being incinerated as we speak. Follow me on Twitter, The Aunt Jimmy Show. Thanks for having me on, Jake, from the MMA Podcast. That is the bottom line. It is the word on the street.
Thank you so much for all the positivity, all the support. We'll see you next week with number 100. I love you, people. We gone.